Hey, what's up, folks? We're going to continue working on Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book art today. So give me a second here to check my signal. I'll go through my intro spiel, and then we'll get to work here for a couple hours, maybe. So hold on, mic check, 1, 2, maybe. 3. So hold on, mic. That sounds like it's coming through loud and clear. So I'm going to go through my intro spiel. If you're here in the future, hi, future. Then if you've heard the intro spiel before, you can skip ahead maybe like a minute, and then I'll be done ranting about all the things that we got going on right now. If you're here live and direct, or if this is the first time that you've been here before, then hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing game supplements. I illustrate them and then publish them online. I've been focusing my attention on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition here for the past 5 years. There's a slew of work that I've already completed that is published on DMsGuild.com. There are links to all that stuff in the description down below with extensive free previews. So if you're here for artwork, you can open the free previews for all that stuff. There's probably about 150 different illustrations that I've done throughout the stuff that's just in the previews, linked down below. There's other illustrations, like almost 100 products now that have my art in them on the DMs Guild, and you can see them all by searching for Art with Phil on DMs Guild if you want to. Otherwise, you can like and support. Follow me here on Twitter at Phil Kearney if you're still on the platform. Best way to get support for helping me out right now, I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers, so like, bell icon, subscribe, very much appreciated. If you think the stuff that I do is cool, would love to have you on board. So like I said, in the description down below, you can see a bunch of books that I've created before. So like I said, I create role-playing games. So this is a book cover that we created. We're currently at episode 269, and we created this book cover back around episode 15. So you can jump into the Wayback Machine of our playlist back to episode 15 to see us creating this book cover and all the hijinks that have happened in the past year between then and now, to be where we're almost done with the book. So when we come up with an idea, we play test it. If it plays well, I run campaigns from basically like level 1 to 20 in 200 to 250 hours. So the stuff that I generally publish are things that either I created so that I could run a campaign that I'm currently in and I needed the tool to do it and it turned out to be cool enough to publish, or we take an idea that exists in 5e and really just break it down and build mechanics for it, and if it's cool and playtests well, we'll build it and then I'll run a campaign with it. So we do the playtesting. If the mechanics come back strong, then we'll send it off to an editor to help clean up the words so that the words sound good. Hey, good morning. And so you break it down. If the words sound good, we send it off to an editor. Editor brings it back to us with clean text. We then bring it into our layout program, which I use Microsoft Word, and I'm currently looking for the page. There we go. And then once we once we finish up our pages, let's get down to the exploration chapter where we're actually working in right now. Spell casting, all these different pages here that we have these giant blank spots in them is where we put the illustrations. So you can then grab each individual page here. I'm trying to scroll down to the page that we're currently working on so you can see what I'm talking about. Did I pass it? Traveling in wild space. No, we're right here. And here we go. So we'll have a page. We then extract the page from Word document and we drop it here into Photoshop. There you go. So you can see parallel here, here. There it is. Okay, cool. So then we illustrate it, and when we finish the illustrations, let's go to bloop. We have illustrations. When we finish the illustration, we'll put it all the illustrations. When all the illustrations are done, we'll then drop them into the Word document, seal it up as a PDF, and then publish it on DM's Guild. And you guys can check out the free preview when it's there. So, looks like my system's frozen up. There we go. Hey guys, this is 106 pages. So the first 80 some odd pages are different ship mechanics, crew options, and exploration ideas and mechanics for you guys to play around with. On Sunday, I released a short video on the timing of moving through the astral sea that we have here in the exploration book that we had built. Let's see, planetary objects, and if you check out Europe, here, traveling through wild space. Yeah, here you go. Traveling in the astral sea. The video that we created basically looked at a snippet of the information that we have here about travel time in the astral sea based on how familiar with the destination you are. There's also tracking objects through the astral sea if it's something that you know exists and you're trying to find it in the astral sea, or what direction in the astral sea you can seek it. Then this will provide you a basic tracking DC and the number of days based on the familiarity with the location we have here and we have here as well. and then there's gaining familiarity through either going to the location and how long you need to spend at the place to gain that familiarity, versus how long you research it, like with sages or looking up information in a book, like looking up Atlantis or whatever. And then if you're traveling to a crystal sphere from the astral space, you have to arrive somewhere in the crystal sphere when you enter it, right? So based on the familiarity with the location within the crystal sphere you're trying to get to, it can determine the number of days away that you appear from that location with a successful navigation check. So you can reduce time frames by returning, basically by going home. You go home, it's going to be faster for you to get home than it is to go out and explore someplace you've never been before. So that's just the basic principles of the idea. And yeah, you guys can check that video out from yesterday if you want to. It's in my videos list as opposed to my live channel list. But we've got about I think we got about an hour and a half for us to play today, and I'm really happy with how all the structure on these buildings and decks and ship, I think this all turned out pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. So I'm happy with all that stuff. All I need now is I need some front shrubbery on this lawn. I need some lights in all these buildings that curve around to help imply the distance of the buildings that are actually curving around the planet. And then I need to populate the sky with some dots. And then I think we'll be done. So we'll be done today. That means that we'll be starting a new page tomorrow. And the exploration chapter will be done completely. So we'll drop that off. And I think we'll go into maybe we'll go back into the combat chapter. Maybe we should hang out there for a while, because there's the combat chapter, and then we have. And I'm gonna start getting to work here while I'm talking about shit, so we can actually get done today. So let's pull up let's see. That's right. We're here in the foreground, and we're messing around with this front shrubbage. So, so we have about 5 landscape paintings we need to do in the random system generator map, and the first, there's 2 appendices, right? The second appendix is about 20 pages of conversion for the Light of Xeraxis adventure. But the first appendix is a random system generator so that you can create, wild space systems. So like how many planets are in the system, how big is the system, how far away from the central star are the planets, what are the planets made of, how large are they, how many moons do they have, all that bit and bit. we have a random system thing to be able to just random up a random system, and in the exploration chapter we provide some basic rules on how to create a system, or like how to map one, so you can use the system map in the exploration chapter that we actually had a tear out video about 2 weeks ago, and that's also in the video section of my channel here on Phil Kearney. You can check that out. It's a few minutes long, and has some system tools to make it real easy for you to build and map wild space systems. And then there's the wild space system generator down in Appendix 1 for you to make practical use of those of those mapping mechanics. So appendix is generally there to be a practical use, or an example or practical application of the things that you create in your book. So you create your thing, and then the appendix can be full of examples of those things. If you can check out the color mana spell point variant rules that I have down below, that's a consistent thing that I do, that my appendices like for the color mana system, for example, the appendix, like the spellcasting and magic chapters of those books spell out how to determine what color a spell is, and then the appendices are all the different spells based by class to show how they would be expressed in color mana. And then there's also an appendix, which is an example of various characters that could be created at different levels, like 3, 7, 12, 20, I think is the range that we have for characters that we built. But it has examples of how you would build out different types of characters at different levels using color mana. and then the third appendix in like say the core mechanics book is here's a playmat, like a color mana playmat, so that you can tap and untap mana and cast spells and stuff and track your different color mana as a visual stack of mana for you to be able to manipulate. I'm going to move my red around. I'm going to move my... Anyway, it's fun. It's like a little control panel for your spell casting. And then we also provide, like, in the books, mana tokens of the different colors, or if you pick up the Elemental Key book, there's both color mana and elemental mana tokens, like air, earth, fire, water. And fire and water look like blue and red for Magic the Gathering, which has white, blue, black, red, and green. So there's 9 different aspects of Magic we cover in 2 different paradigms with 7 different tokens. It's kind of fun. So anyway, I'm yammering a lot today. Don't mind me. Just having I'm just kind of geeking out that we keep moving forward on this book. So it'll be done sooner than later. We got, like I said, we have 5 illustrations yet to complete in the... Cover that up a little bit. This should actually be on a separate layer. Kind of goof that. Get that in sync here real quick. Yeah, there's 5 landscape illustrations in the system generator appendix, and then there are, I think, 4 illustrations of a quarter page or smaller left to be done in the combat section. I can't see the text. Oh no, don't script my stuff. Thank you. Thanks, Karen, for the compliment. Yeah, it's coming along nicely. It's dim overall, but I think that's just the mood of the picture ultimately. There's I don't think I want to create too much pop at this point to pull the balance off, even though I don't know, maybe a little bit more brightly illustrated something might not be a bad idea. I'm going to drop some rock in here. Brr. Just to rough it up a little bit. So I think I want to, I can feel the slog of the project, right? Because sometimes it fatigues me. And when I start getting fatigued, there's a risk of burnout. I know I have enough endurance as it stands to be able to safely move through the 4 illustrations that are in the combat chapter. And so the last illustrations that I'll need to do when I'm at the highest risk of being burnt out, I'll be able to do landscape pictures, which are just completely intuitively controlled. So I'll be able to like take breaks inside of the wild space environment pictures that we'll be painting as a safe haven for me to retreat to emotionally during the remains of the project. But otherwise, other than the 5 landscapes and the 4 like 1/8 or quarter page combat pictures I need to do, I still have, I think, about 10 diagrams that need to be created throughout the combat section, and then I need to figure out the finished layouts for the and then tokens for the Lyzaraxis conversion section. So I still have a bit of work ahead of me, but I still think it's reasonable to expect a January release. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's creeping up pretty quickly. But I think January is very reasonable. And so I'm really looking forward to that switching gears. It's going to be super fucking cool. I'm going to stitch that up. Sup? Yeah. Yeah, there can be a little bit of pop here and there. It's not a bad idea. Where is it here? Yeah, we can drop in here. Let's go down to here to grab some of this higher lit color. Let's grab an appropriately fluffy brush here. Let's thin out that curve here. Let's see how this does for us. Not enough. A little bit of pop between the building wouldn't be bad. That's too much, but that's okay. Let's see how this shakes out. It's a little bit too sharp. I gotta be careful with this. I don't want to overlight it. What? There's something lockety going on with my mouse. It is not behaving as I expect. Yeah. Yeah. It's a little pinch. I'm using like a 30% opacity so I can tap at it multiple times to eat away at the lighting so I can control how it turns. Up that to 50% here up in these trees. Inconsequential in the larger sense of things, I think. I don't think I'm going to go in on this. Yeah, I'm going to scrap that out. Let's try switching the beat here to this lighter color. Or this, slim down that brush a little bit more to get that angle going. Still not getting it. There it is. Much better. So I can keep the same shape of brush. By keeping the same shape of brush and choosing how much of the base I erase, kind of sets how wide of an angle of approach that I have. Like, so I have, this looks flat. Well, this looks like it's facing towards you because the way the light falls away into the folds of the brush. So out here on the edge, where it's facing cylindrically further away from you, there's a broader width of brush that you can see that isn't receding into towards the trunk. So I'm using different amounts of eraser at different lengths along the brush stroke to manipulate the curvature and angle of the brush, or angle of the branches that are, like, quote unquote poking out through the scrubbery, if that makes sense. And I can fade it in to make it fit the overall curve of the overall object, like how much light is it getting from external sources. Still fairly dim. I'm okay with that. I'll let that sit. I think I'm content with that. Let's go to... This feels like the... No, wait. Here. Front buff, front boat stuff. There we go. Let's build this out. just locked up. Hit save and restart the art program, or at least this illustration. Occasionally OBS and Adobe don't get along, and Adobe always loses. Do the same color layering effect here for these bushes, so I can drop down the. I got a erase at the base in a so it curves down out of view, making room for more foliage that's closer to the camera. That's how you can just stack the elevation by having fading it, blackening it, and like erasing it down into the ground so that it just blends more naturally into the ground that the foliage is growing on, like that. I can put in another illustration. I can put in another piece down here, like this, and it will be underneath the pad layer here so that it will be able to ring but not disrupt this landing pad, like that, underneath the bush and the house and all the blah de blah. Take this snippet here, cut that out. We can go to the ship, but behind the lodge. There. So now we can have foliage going behind the house without necessarily fucking with the shrubbery or the house itself. There we go. Let's blend that in. It's rudimentary, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Let's stick to the same color palette across here. Yeah. Oops. No, we didn't switch it up at all. Hold on. Just add another layer. There we go. Now we should be sitting pretty. I can just dance across like that. Lift it up. Oops. Lift it up a touch, line it up here. I said lift it up a touch and line up here. Thank you. I can erase these the same way. I'm using a different eraser than the brush that I painted with so that I'm layering textures in, so it breaks it up and makes the foliage feel more natural, less mechanical, less like a paintbrush that is automating shrubbery and more like there is something organic happening. So we're faking that by mixing our brush textures and allowing for variation and different angles of tapping here to be able to create that effect. Like that. And then I can come back in with another layer in front of it. Easy peasy. Cheap and easy brush. create layers with shrubbery by pushing back the environment, by cutting off the line of separation in the like by covering up this edge here with foliage like this. It helps push back the location of these buildings in the background, the people fucking around back there. It pushes them back down the hill, as it were. Happy with that. It's a bit dim, I know, but I'm going to be okay with that. All right, let's stack in on top of that with the same stuff. Same technique here, just a little bit bigger brush. And I can start dropping the size of the brush as we push back here. Same technique, just tap and erase at the base, leaving the tips, just leaving the top portion alone. Since it's going to naturally get the most light, it's going to be the most highlight. It's just, that's just how light works. That's just rudimentary physics there. Hey, thanks, Timely Timer. Let's get a sip of coffee. I grab that and pull that line up just a touch there. Dropping the second layer on top. Again, we're just layering the foliage using the overhead perspective, looking down to help add a second row, as it were, to the to this foliage. I might have to spend some time working on some highlights. I can feel that. I'm not going to be really, it's pretty, I mean, it is a dark piece. I don't want to oversaturate any highlights, but I don't know, man, I kind of like it like this. I like that darkness as like a duskness that just sits on the place. I know that it doesn't allow the detail to pop out a lot, but I like that moodiness. It just feels nice. I'm doubting it, but I don't want to. I want to trust that I'm not off base here. After adding this layer, we're gonna put in a new shadow layer or base dark layer underneath this. It's just gonna rain down here and then go up along the edge of the pathway here. needs to be over the... Stuff in here like that. Just toughed it out. Toughed. Agreed. Trust my instincts. Thanks, Karen. Let's hook this like this. Get that overflow going. There we go. I like that. And then here I can use this. See, I can clean up the edge of this walkway by having foliage overflow onto it. So again, we build out this the dark underbase. You always start with a dark underbase, unless you're doing some sort of really weird neon or unnatural thing. You're typically going to start off with the darkest layer at the bottom because that's where all the shadow ends up going, right? Because, you know, light physics. Touching, like if the light can't touch it, it's dark. That's, you know, that's what the Beastie Boys told us, right? It's the absence of darkness isn't the opposite of light. It's the absence of light, man. God bless the Beastie Boys. But to case in point, it's true. And so you want to have the underlying color base of whatever it is that you're working on to be darker because it's under. So it's going to have less opportunities to be impacted by photons. So as zen as that statement is from Yay Beastie Boys, it is physically true, like from a physics perspective. Bigger brush to punch through this stuff a little bit more. I think I got another. Yeah, I think when the next alarm pops, I should be done with this this hedge sequence here. We can move into the lights, down into the buildings down below. Spend 20 minutes down putting just little lights and windows, and it looks like I just locked up again, so I have to hit save, close out the program, open it again. It is grinding hard today, my friends. I'm happy about this, man. I'm excited to get this off my plate and to change the energy up. I have a week off for vacation between December 25th and January 1st that I get to pretend I am a full-time artist. It is my my holiday gift to myself to do so every year, and my birthday's in May, so a week in May I do the same. That I take guaranteed 2 weeks of vacation every year during the holidays, during my birthday, to reward myself for being alive. Drop that in there like that, and dot out in front of it. There, good. So that's coming up. I also have a dentist appointment on the 18th, which is, what, 2 weeks from now? And I always take the day off when I go to the dentist to reward myself for taking care of myself. Dentist days, doctor days. I like to take the entire day off as either if I have the PTO, great. Otherwise, as vacation day for me to go take care of myself. And so when I'm finished taking care of myself, I can go home and I can finish out the day pretending I'm an artist again. Someday it'll come true. Alright, I'm going to hold the line there. We're going to switch the beat. Push down here. The foliage like that. I should put that on a separate layer altogether now that I'm thinking about how it's working. Like this. So I'm going to be able to collapse some time frames at the end of the year here. That's why I'm feeling pretty confident that I'll be able to get this thing published in January, because I'm going to have that strong 60-hour production week available to me that during the holidays. No, I'm not. I'm just brushing in. I don't know. I'm just doing like this little hedge ring here. I was thinking about putting a different type of shrubbery in the middle here, like something a little bit more viney, like sprawlish. But so I'm putting these cap leaves at the bottom here to show the bottom of the bushes that we had made. Like that. See, I can erase one edge of that, and it looks like just like a little tuft of leaves that kind of lazy over the ground a little bit, like it's its own property. So I've got about 10 minutes to finish this row, to make the line around here. Should be plenty of time. Yeah. Yeah. little bit. And then, oops, I'm going to add a new layer altogether. The moss used in the foreground tree. Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. Oh, changing the brush, the brush tip. Yeah, I can do that along. I think a bit along the ground. I think that makes sense. Yeah, let me finish the second layer here, and then I'll do what I think it is that you're saying. Because I agree. So what I think you're saying is to use this brush. And then there's the tufty brush that I can use in the middle. So I'll get to that in a minute. A touch. Well, I guess I am filling it in. How about that? You don't know until you know, right? Yeah, it does. It's just texture. It really is just filler texture. Just to make the space look like it's being, you know, used. Not my best work, but I really don't mind. You can only do so much sometimes. There's that, and where is... There's that back row. That's where I want to be, right here. Whoa, where'd you go, buddy? Come back here. Yeah, 20 minutes. I was right. I filled that in right on time. But, let's go with, call it Shrub Island. Shrub is land. There we go. And then I've got some... There's just a little bit more I need to do here on the other side. Let's just go back here and let's take a few minutes just to tough this out. Has their own dedicated landing pad and eats up a lot of valuable space with just random shrubbery. This is obviously a very wealthy / aristocratic lifestyle house. Or I guess it's an estate. It's large enough it's probably a manor or an estate if you're using Dungeon Master Guide's building terms. Could be it could be a bastion as proposed by the new D&D playtest mechanics. It'd be a good place for you to park a house. Did I lock up again? Nope. Come on, baby. There you go. Let's keep chugging through it. Switching gears to the tuft. What's it different? Brush, working that variety. Good enough. I feel that feels a little incomplete. So I think I need to That feels better. All right. I spy with my eye something that is a highlight issue. It does need tending to. Tap, 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 roo. Good enough. Okay, cool. So let's transition into working on building highlights, or lights and windows is where we're at. Lights and windows, lights and windows, lights and windows, lights and windows. Start here. Lights. I'm gonna just steal from that since it's good. I'm gonna grab just a little dot here. Bolt. Gonna, yeah. Yes, I am. That's okay. That's what we signed up for. And at this scale, it's not like you need a lot of detail. They just have to be a light and a dot. So just, dot, dot, dot. Looks like micromanage every fucking single one of them. Little off base there, Kearney. P's and Q's, P's and Q's. Lots of lights. vey. What a pain in the tuchus. Ugh, this is gonna create cast lit. I'm gonna have to hit some highlights around the edges of the railing and shit. Shit. Really trying to finish this up in the next 20 some odd minutes, and that's gonna be. I might have to spend a half hour or so off screen. I want to be done with this today. I'm going to start up the new page tomorrow, no matter what. So I'll probably just end up roughing in some highlights here on the casual on the side. I spent 2 weeks on this picture. It is it's done. I've got other pieces to do. So I need to move on from this one. It's been a blessing to do it, but its time is end is nigh. Yep, to last 20 minutes. There we go. Hit some of that. I can almost be done with this, I suppose. I don't need to oversaturate. I can... Radiance effects, cast light. I can certainly resolve that. I want to prioritize stars after I finish up this window. I need a lot of lights. Gonna need a bigger boat. In, carve it out, block it in, carve it out, block it in, carve it out. Hit and fit that line. There we go. Let's hit and fit this line as well. Race that a little bit to make little shadows and effects in here that don't have to be explained, but break up the light regardless. Not bad. All right, we can let that sit for now, and let's drop back into the sky. Far clouds. Yeah, that feels good. All right, so then we can take use I just put in a couple of dots, and then I use a opacity 20% here, a mild eraser to unevenly hit different stars so that some are more faded than others, depending on the density of the clouds that we're looking at. Like the closer we get to the surface, the more cloud there is, the less light there is to shine through. Like it scattered more, so you fade those out and leave the more crisp stuff further out in the thinner atmosphere area. Then we'll switch up the color and just layer in a bunch of this stuff just to scatter shot it. The eraser a bit. Be careful about not going too fast to create too much smudginess instead of roundedness. Change the size just a touch here and there. What's up? Yeah, sure. I mean, why not? I don't know if this ring world is probably too transient at this point to have its own. Like if the constellations that exist on Earth are steeped in mysticism and unknown history that was handed down to us by ancients that we don't know. And so, if we were to journey to the stars and start mining another planet for resources, I don't think we would even bother creating any like acknowledgeable constellations in the sky because the symbolism doesn't mean anything. We're just here for the resources, you know. Like I think you'd have to forget your origins. And then try and forget all the technology, and then try to as you pick up the pieces of what travesty destroyed your planet's history. Then if you're stranded here after 20 generations, maybe they'd start thinking about creating their own. I don't know. It's just, I don't think it would happen. Hard to say. Let's switch the beat. Create a new layer for. See, no, so it's too dark to be down here in the clouds. So this reddishness can only be up here in dark sky. See, too dark. I can drop into a bright blue and have that poke through the clouds. I don't need to do a lot of red. Be done with that here. And now we can flip the script. Check it in. I'm checking it out. A little bit of a purpliness to it. Like that. That should be fine. I want to push that up a lot. I'm keeping an eye on this triangle over here. Triangles mean unnatural color. Be careful. Arr! I can spend forever doing stars. Just take a chunk of them. Just rotate them around. And then drop the opacity to create a layering effect that can then merge down into the above fold, erase. Merge that down. Tap away down in here to thin up that cloud stuff going on. Dot 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 stipple 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 stip stip stipple stipple stipple. That edge, make sure that fades properly so it doesn't feel unnaturally bordered. Down, put them in. Cool. Just gonna go ahead and call it there. I could always work on it more, but Muse just said it's done, so we're going to go ahead and call it done. Boop. Boop. potentially. That feels good. I like that. Perfect timing. All right. That feels pretty good. We're just going to let that blend in like that. We'll go ahead and call this done, for lack of a better word. And, yeah. So when we come back tomorrow, we're going to start in a new piece inside the combat chapter. Go back to getting weapons and ships and shit done. And this will be fun to have published. So I'm going to go ahead and call this here. I might come back and like maybe strengthen the highlight along the ship here. Maybe, I don't know. If I zoom in just even a little bit, it feels pretty good. Like I feel like the piece is compelling enough to pull in the zoom a little bit to see the detail, and I'm pretty happy with that. We'll go ahead and call that. All right, cool. We're done. Nice. So that means the whole exploration chapter is finished now. So I can pick that up and drop it into the done folder, and we'll be back. Yeah, thanks, Karen. I'm happy with it. It's a cool piece. No regrets. I'll probably brag it up and post it online at some point, but I'm gonna let it sit for a few days just to let it ruminate. And see if any inspiration has me pick at it a little bit, just to let it rest up for a few. But yeah, so this is done. I'm going to be back today doing martial powers. I should be here in about, it's 8 o'clock here in Seattle. I should be here in about 5 hours, typically like 1 o'clock PST. We'll work on the Drake Warden and the Gloomstalker Rangers. And then I'll be back on tonight and about in about 11-ish hours. To continue working on Eberron creature tokens. So we got a lot more packed in today. Probably another 3, maybe 4 hours worth of art creation or mechanical design that we'll be doing today, and then tomorrow morning. Again, we'll be back here to do more martial powers. Lunch tomorrow will probably maybe Horizon Walker and finish up the Ranger maybe tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, I'll be back in the morning. And then I'll be back on Thursday morning and Thursday night. Thursday morning for more Spelljammer. Thursday night, like Monday through Friday, we do Spelljammer art like this. Monday and Thursday night, we do Eberron creature token art. And then Monday, Tuesday, and typically Fridays, we take like maybe like an hour and a half or so lunch to work on martial powers. So, and then this Saturday, we'll be finishing the book cover commission that we've been working on. That's pretty much guaranteed. I'm just fucking around on Saturday just to have fun with it and poke at it and have fun with people for an hour or so, just to mince some details and have some fun. But that piece is going to be done too. So we're shifting some gears. I'm really happy about that. So I'll see you guys later on today or tonight or tomorrow. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when I'm kicking out there. And Karen, anyone else, everyone in the future, thanks a lot, everyone. And I'll see you all on the other side. Thanks a lot.